Hello, and thank you for joining me. In today's video, I am going to make a special requested sunflower coaster. I will be using the less resin. It is the octagon, big chunky looking coaster. Now I need to insert here that I am in no way affiliated with or sponsored by Less Resin. I just absolutely love their products. And when I ordered these coasters, it was actually a set of 3: round, square, and octagon. And I've never used this one before, so I'm going to use that today and see about making a sunflower coaster. Now, originally I thought what I would do was just, crochet a sunflower and put it in the square coaster. And while that might be great, and I think it would work for somebody who enjoys crochet, but that's not this person. So I want to honor her request and think about her personality in making this coaster. Now, one thing that she did ask, other than sunflowers, was that I incorporate some white and some black glitter. So after giving it a lot of thought, I think I know how I can do that. So I will be using the white and black glitter. I will also be using some white pigment paste to mix with the white glitter. And that will be my first pour. It's going to be I'm going to try and take just the black glitter with just epoxy resin around the edges, and then white for the foundation. I'm going to let that cure up a little bit and then probably pour a second thin layer of clear resin. And then once that cures up a little bit, I did find these cute sunflower stickers, and they're like for paperwork, like scrapbooking, and they're super cute. I found these at Hobby Lobby, and I have treated 6 of them with resin, and now they're not as bright, but I still think that they'll look really cute inside of this coaster. So I will be more than likely using those in there. Also, I have a couple of leaves that I've treated, and if you want to know how I do treat foliage, you can watch the video preparing foliage for resin projects, and I will link that in the description and the comments below. But I do want to use a couple of those leaves. I know that they're blackberry leaves in the real world. In my world, they're going to be sunflower leaves. I will also be using, let me grab these pieces here. If you watch the video Resin Dragon, I did pour a couple of these yellow teardrop looking pieces in that video, as well as the center with the little BB looking things. So what I want to do is actually create a flower with those within the resin. So I'm going to get some resin mixed up, and we will go ahead and get this party started. See you in a minute. All right, I do have the resin mixed up, and this is just the black glitter. Ooh, don't pour it. This is the black glitter with just clear resin, and I'm going to try to very carefully pour this slowly around the edges. Let's see how successful I'm going to be at that. Oh, slow down. And hopefully when I pour the white, it'll push the black back to the edges. Okay, let me stop there. And this is the white pigment with a very generous amount of that pretty glitter. So let's pour this in the center and hope that it pushes the black back to the edges. Because the whole idea is to try to get a frame. I'm going to let that set for a second and see what it does. I am such a sloppy person when it comes to this stuff. I've stuck my stick down in it. Clean the stick. Clean my glove. And see, let me grab my tool and hopefully not mess anything up. It does look like it's pushing the black back. I'm trying to decide if I think I want to add any more white or leave well enough alone. I think I may add just a little more white because I'm starting to see a little bit of black wanting to flow over that white. So let me just add a little bit more at a time and see what happens. It does look like a nice little round frame in there if it stays that way. I really want the black to push back. I probably shouldn't help it because sometimes I fiddle with stuff to the point to where I really mess it up. Let me pour a little more white in there. Yeah, I got a little black glitter over there. I don't want that. Well, yeah, the black is, if you can see over here, it's starting to spill over. That is not what I wanted. I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of the white. And I guess whatever happens, happens. There are sometimes that they're just happy little accidents, and sometimes it's just an accident. Let me get the rest of that out of there and set this aside. And what I'm going to do, I mean, whatever happens here is going to happen. But the glitter is pretty. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to let this set for an hour, probably for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I do want it nice, and I want it to get to the sticky, sticky soft. And then I will come back in and pour a very thin layer of just clear. And I'll do that off camera. And then when I'm ready to pour again to add the leaves and the little sunflowers, I will come back on the camera, come back on, and then let that cure for a little bit. And then at the very last, I want to add the resin pieces to create a flower. So I'm going to bubble sip. I'll time this, and I will see you after I do the next little clear pour. So there has been a slight change of plans, and I'll go over that in just a minute. I wanted to talk about the white and the black. Now, I kept going in with my tool and kind of trying to push the black glitter because it kept wanting to go to the center. And I mean, I'll show you the design. I don't think it's a bad looking design. I don't know how well you can see that with that reflection of the light, but I think it's a pretty cool design. And now I'm not sure because I am new to resin, but if I were to hazard a guess, I would say that it's because on the black, the glitter was just mixed with resin and put around the edge. But on the white, even though I just used a little bit of the white pigment paste, I believe that it caused it to be a little heavier. So instead of spreading like I wanted it to, it sunk to the bottom. Now, I don't know if that's for sure the cause. I mean, I don't mind with what turned out, but if you know the answer to that, let me know in the comments below. Okay, now back to the change of plans. Originally, I told you I was going to pour a clear coat and let it cure for a little bit and then come back in and start putting the flowers. But for fear of running out of room in the coaster, I decided not to do that. Now, the resin is pretty thick and sticky, so I think it should be fine. I'm going to pour some clear and then see if I can't get these flowers, the little small flowers, and the leaves put in. So let me just kind of pour that in the center. We stop for a minute because I definitely want to make sure I have enough room at the end to put the resin pieces in and dome it. I think I have room for this. So I'm going to pour this in, and then we'll get the flowers and see if we can't place those in the leaves. They may or may not try to float around or swim around on me. We'll find out. I kind of expect they may. So let me let that settle down for a second. And just for the surface bubbles, and all I spray is like 99% medical grade alcohol, and that helps to get rid of the surface bubbles. So let's see. I don't know if I should try to place the leaves first or the flowers. I think I'm going to just definitely want to give it some taps to help possibly release any possible air bubbles that might want to get trapped underneath. I think I want one there. One here. One here. And one here. I'm going to see if I can't make sure that those are somewhat evenly spaced. All right, let's see if we can strategically put the leaves in there. I think I may have to actually move one of those flowers, and I may have to move one of the flowers because I kind of want the leaves like that. So let me move this flower for a second. Put that leaf down there. Let me set this flower on. I'll set it on the mat. And then we'll put the flower back. Let me see if I can't get that leaf on top of that one. Scooch it up just a little bit. Let me move that flower. Oh, I see a big bubble right there. Okay. Let's see. Oh, it wants to swim away. Can't have that. Well, fiddlesticks. See if I can grab that without touching the resin underneath because it's not fully cured. And then put this flower back over here. I need for it to stop swimming on me. All right. I just want to give them plenty of taps just in case there's air underneath. And then ideally, hopefully, you'll be able to see at least a little peek of the leaves. Oh my. Maybe that's better. Kind of peeking out of the sides of the resin flower when I put the resin pieces in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bubble sit, but also make sure these things don't swim away on me. I want them to kind of stay in the place that they're in. There's a bubble right there. And then let it set for a couple of hours so they can get good and thick and sticky. And then when we come back, that's when I will try to create a flower with these resin pieces. So I'm going to just set those in there, and I will see you shortly. We're back. I wanted to show you something before I do this next pour. Let me bring the camera down here and see if you can see. The light may be in the way. These little scratches. I guess when I was manipulating those leaves that I scratched the resin underneath. Now ideally when I put these pieces on, it'll hide it up top, but I guess we'll have to wait until we unmold to see if it did any damage to the bottom of the mold of the piece. The first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and get some resin poured in here. Let me let it do its stuff, because I want to make sure I save plenty of room to dome it. And I have to think about when I put these pieces in, hopefully they'll go up underneath that resin. I didn't think about that earlier. So let me use my tool and try to carefully go around the edges without touching the stuff underneath to get rid of any bubbles that may be hanging out. It looks like we may have a bubble there that's there. Let me see. Oh no, it's not stuck in there. Okay, good, good. All right, I am going to try to carefully place these, and I'll move them around after I get them down in the resin, because I want this flower to look like a flower and centered. But let me just get these pieces in there. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but I don't want to scratch the stuff underneath either. You know, let me just get them in there, and then I will use the tool and try to manipulate them. And then of course give them some good taps and hope they don't swim on me too much. All right, let me try to use this to get this where I want it at. And again, I want to try to place these little petals. Excuse me. Let me scoot that over a little bit. Try to place the little petals spaced close to equally apart so that it looks like a flower. Let me just scooch those a little bit. And let's give them some taps. That needs to scooch back up. I kind of really want those butted up against the centerpiece. All right, I have some more resin I want to pour on there. Hopefully these things won't swim away. And I don't know that that really looks centered. It actually looks like it needs to scooch over this way some. Oh, it's sticking down beneath. Don't want that. See if I can get that petal back. I need that straight. And let me see if I can straighten this one out a little better. I'm going to go ahead and pour the resin and then continue to fiddle with these things. And maybe I should have let the resin up underneath dry even more than I did. It was extremely sticky, but not to like just the soft stage. And maybe that's what I should have done. Shoulda, woulda, coulda though. I didn't. Let's see if we can get this like thus and so. That one's stuck. Scoot that one over a little bit. And let me scoot this one a little bit. And hopefully I'm not messing it up too bad underneath. Let me see here. I'm not too sure if I like it by that leaf, the way that leaf is. I kind of want to hide the stem of the leaf. That one doesn't want to move. Nope, I see a fuzz. Can't have that. It's on my brush. You know, I don't know. I don't know. It really doesn't really look centered to me. Scoot it back over here. A little bit more. Scoot that there. Try to hide that stem with this one, but I still want them kind of equally spaced apart. Yeah, I should have let the resin underneath cure more than I did. Well, that looks more centered to me. Now I'm going to have to give it a spray for the bubbles, but let me kind of take you down here. I know that the light is reflecting off of it. And I may have to fiddle for it with these petals a little bit more. And it does look like, I mean, I'm going to let this dry some, and then it looks like I just need to pour just a tiny bit in order to get a dome, but I do want a dome on it, because if not, when it starts drying and kind of shrinks a little bit, it's going to leave a sharp edge. So I'm going to go ahead and let this sit for a bit. Let me give it a spray. Let it set for a little bit, and then I will dome it, and I will see you for the unmolding. See you in a little bit. Time for the unmolding. And I'm just going to bring it down here real fast. Look at this. It's kind of giving me a 70s vibe. But from here, I think it's kind of neat. That being said, I mean, we'll really see once we get it unmolded. So let's go ahead and do that. See what we got. I'm kind of curious about the bottom. But there's the top. And I always like to look in the sides. I love the 3D effect, even though I would have liked to have had more of the 3D effect in this. I think it turned out cute, but let's see what the back looks like. Oh, it's pretty and shiny. And I don't see the scratch marks coming all the way through. So anyway, that's the way it turned out. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. I do like the fact that I actually used some real leaves in there. And something I wanted to share with you, what I do, like with this big coaster, if it's going to be used as a coaster, and this one will, is I put on, they're called noise dampening bumpers. And I love these things. They come in all different sizes, but they're easy. You just peel and stick them on the bottom, and it'll keep the coaster from rolling around or sliding around. They work great. It took me a long time to figure out what they were called in order to find them, and I actually found these at, I believe it was Walmart online. Anyhow, here's the coaster. Let me move that out of the way. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. I want to thank you for watching. I do want to ask you to consider hitting the like, subscribe, and share buttons. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time.